Find the value of the required ratio shown on the screen. Label points B, C, D, and E. Let G and X be the centers of blue and violet semicircles, respectively. Also, let O be the center of the larger quarter circle. It implies that line D, O equals 2 times R, which equals to 12 centimeters. This is the radius of the larger quarter circle. Take the square root of the equation. R equals half of 12, which equals to 6 centimeters. Label point J. Join line G, X and line J, X. It follows that line G, J equals line G, O minus line J, O, which equals to 6 minus R. But line X, J equals line B, O, which equals to H. From triangle G, X, J. Using Pythagoras theorem, the square of H equals the square of line G, X minus the square of line G, J. We call it equation 1. Substitute values and we have that the square of H equals the result shown on the screen. We call it equation 2. Join line O, E. Line O, E equals line D, O, which equals to 12 centimeters. The result equals 2 times R. From triangle B, O, E. Use Pythagoras theorem. The square of line B, O equals the square of line O, E minus the square of line B, E. We call it equation 3. Substitute values and we have that the square of H equals the square of 12 minus the square of the product of 2 and R. We call it equation 4. Equate equation 2 and equation 1, as shown on the screen. Expand brackets. It implies that the sum of 36, 12 times R, the square of R minus 36 plus 12 times R minus the square of R equals 144 minus 4 times the square of R. Combine like terms. We have that the sum of 12 times R and 12 times R equals 24 times R, which equals to 144 minus 4 times the square of R. Rearrange terms in one side of the equation. The sum of 4 times the square of R and 24 times R minus 144 equals to 0. Divide the equation by 4. It implies that the sum of the square of R and 6 times R minus 36 equals to 0. Use general quadratic equation formula as shown on the screen, where A equals 1, B equals 6 and C equals to negative 36. Substitute values and we have that R equals negative 6 plus or minus the square root of the square of 6 minus 4 times the product of 1 and 36. All divided by 2 times 1. Simplify. It follows that R equals half of negative 6 plus or minus 6 times the square root of 5. But R is not equals to half of negative 6 minus 6 times the square root of 5. It is because length measuration has no negative value. are equals half of the sum of -6 and 6 times the square root of 5, which equals the sum of -3 and 3 times the square root of 5. In centimeters. Hence, the ratio of the radius of the blue semicircle to the radius of the violet semicircle equals 6, divided by the sum of -3 and 3 times the square root of 5. Rationalize the denominator. We have the result to be equals to half the sum of the square root of 5 and 1. Therefore, the required ratio equals half the sum of the square root of 5 and 1.